All right, guys, I'm here at Beach, and I just wanted to, give you a little lay of the land here. So this is a mature, established neighborhood, and I would call this a conforming neighborhood. So it was a planned development back in the day. All the homes were probably built by the same builder around the same time frame. You're going to have a variety of ramblers. And what's funny about Port Orchard is a lot of ramblers in Port Orchard, single-story houses, rambler. That is popular for resale because it matches just about everybody's needs. If you're an older person, you don't have to worry about stairs. If you're a younger person, it's just convenient. One thing that we lean into with homes in this age time frame also is that our Growth Management Act was not as stringent. So you're a little further from the city core, but also the age of the home is going to suggest that we don't have the restrictions we would have today on high density. So we get a lot more lot size. And while we are in a neighborhood, we have neighbors. This particular lot, being on the corner, you're going to have some privacy. There's not competing windows on that end of the house. Plus, this lot is raised up a little bit. So the driveway goes up to the house. So you sit a little higher than the neighbors. So again, from a privacy standpoint, not a big concern. Landscaping in this lot is also quite lush. You've got these really big old growth evergreens here. And that's going to provide quite a bit of comfort and shading from sun, but also it's creating privacy screening. I do notice that the roof looks newer. I'm not going to go brand new, but it's quite new based on the building practices I see. We'll get a little closer in. I just wanted to kind of show you the lay of the land on what the neighboring houses look like. And really kind of walk this whole lot from the street so you can get a sense of how private it is, even though it is a neighborhood. So, gosh, the house that we saw in Honey Hill, also a neighborhood, but that was heavily treed, so that felt a lot more private. But in this case, this nice grade going up towards the house, limited windows for street viewing, just gives this a lot of nice privacy. This roadside landscaping is mostly ground cover and plants, so it's going to be a lot easier to maintain. Mailboxes are right here, so they have this little path that comes down and a gate on the back side of the yard. This is more or less agricultural fencing. I see privacy fencing on the neighbors' houses, so there's nothing against it if you wanted to get some panels, and screen in the yard a little bit for more privacy. We're a really cloudy day today. I think we're going to get some good sunlight at the back of the house, but generally speaking, this is not going to have, all the light in the world because of this mature landscaping. So our appointment starts in about 30 minutes. Just give me this time to peek around the outside while this other agent is inside doing their tour. The exterior of the house is probably cedar, but it's definitely wood siding, which is my second favorite siding. Everything I see, it looks in decent shape. We do have a raised foundation, so there's a crawl space. So this is a crawl space vent, and I can't see anything alarming there, meaning I'm not seeing like access points for rodents. I'm not seeing any dangling insulation. But of course, that's something that would be potentially revealed in the home inspection. These green boxes are going to be related to exterior watering systems, so it looks like they have sprinklers. Again, I think these people were famously the famous landscapers in the neighborhood. This is not a real fire hydrant, I don't believe. I think it is how they help water their garden. Looks like they found a retired fire hydrant. The windows will be newer compared to the home's age. I'm not going to consider them brand new. They are vinyl windows, double paned. Three-car garage in this neighborhood is unique. So it'll be interesting when we get inside I'm curious, is the word I was looking for, when we get inside to see if this was potentially an addition at some point. Nice garage doors. These feel fiberglass. They don't sound metal, so I'm going to go with newer fiberglass doors. Love that they have these transom windows. So it's going to provide you some nice light in the garage if you have any projects there. Here's our natural gas. I didn't see the electric meter, so I'll keep my eyes open for that. So this would be an example of an original window. Since this is on the garage, it is still double paned, but it is aluminum, so it's not quite as energy efficient, but it's a garage, so nobody probably really cares about that. And probably not going to be able to get in the backyard from here. So we'll take a look at the backyard when I get a chance to get into the house. All right, just getting ready to head into the house. Another thing I like is this overhang that runs along the whole edge of the house here. I don't care if you're working in the garage, or maybe you're just gonna park in the driveway. You have a way to kind of escape any weather. Aesthetically, on the exterior, everything really looks freshly painted. They definitely, to me, went to task on getting the house ready for the market. So we enter onto carpeted flooring. My guess is we don't have hardwoods here, but let's see. I could be wrong. There may actually be hardwoods underneath this carpet. Sometimes with this age of home, it could just be subfloor, but this one actually looks like we may have hardwoods under the carpet. Skylight here, a little piece of the trim coming down, but I don't see any signs of leaking. And the skylight itself looks very clear, meaning it looks like it's in good shape. Nice coat closet. It's a nice sized living room. Looks like natural gas to the fireplace. The color's a little wild, but looks nice. There's shades on the window. There are curtain rods, so if you want to put a curtain in. Popcorn ceilings? No, there's no popcorn. I don't see any anywhere. The ceiling height is going to be appropriate for this age of house, so I think these are 7.6 or 8 max. This is a hardwood. Maybe that they put hardwood over hardwood. It's hard to say, but certainly these hardwoods are different than what these hardwoods look like. This is a built-in. And this is a newer built-in, newer cabinets. Soft close on these. So lots of great storage here. So technically this is the dining area. It isn't giant. If you had a big giant dining room, you could always set this front area up as a dining room. Maybe have more or less an eat-in kitchen here, maybe a pub table, and then do living in that space. Kitchen has also been updated. These certainly are not the original cabinets. Frankly, I bet this kitchen ended here. This probably wasn't even here. So really, really nice kitchen. Lots of reasons for me to continue to believe that this is going to get a lot of interest. Big giant skylight here, which is wonderful. This feels like a quartz, and the reason I'm thinking it feels that way is it's smooth on both sides, so it's polished quartz. The pattern's too consistent for it to be a granite. Real subway tile. It's not that plastic stuff. Good storage. Again, soft close. Lots of nice cabinet space plus that. My guess is maybe they had a TV in here. There's coax in there, but great place for, appliances. You've got KitchenAid refrigerator, GE Cafe range, gas range, GE Profile microwave, and the Bosch dishwasher. So nice quality appliances. Updated thermostat. Again, no popcorn in the ceilings. Very pretty hallway light, accent light. This is a solar tube. It does look like it needs to be cleaned out, but this works functioning like a skylight, so it's going to be letting natural light in. The only bathroom on this side of the house. So if you remember the floor plan, there'll be another bathroom off of the family room. So this is a full-size bath, tub shower combo. This is probably a, IKEA or Home Depot or something like that, off the shelf type box. This is marble, I believe. Tasteful lighting, and then jetted tub shower combo. This is probably a porcelain tile. This is a fiberglass insert. I'm not seeing any concerning areas. In this corner, there's a little bit of moisture staining. My guess is they didn't do a good job at either running the vent or opening the window when they were showering. So they have a little bit of ceiling moisture staining. But again, I'm not seeing anything concerning. This flooring is tile. And I think that's a ceramic tile, even though it has a little bit of that granite look. So these hardwood floors are likely the original hardwoods. So that's likely what's underneath these carpets. It's passable. They just liked carpeting. Sometimes if people have pets, the dogs don't do well slipping and sliding. It's hard to say, but if you ever wanted to, you may be able to pull this carpet up and reveal these hardwoods. The only thing that's a little bit of a conflict at that point is you're going to have oak hardwoods up against maybe a hickory or a cherry. I don't know what that is, so that might look a little odd. But I'm certain that these hardwoods are underneath this carpet. Cute bedroom. And I don't think these are the original light fixtures. These look a little bit early, like 1930s. So they probably had them retooled to work in a space like this. They did built-ins on what was likely a just wardrobe closet. This is super nice. I love this closet. Sadly, all of these really cute things are what's going to make this house sell quickly. They did a great job here. The chair rail with the wainscoting is nice. Closet at the end of the hall will be linens. Again, the hardwoods. These hardwoods are in excellent shape. These are oak built-ins, also in really, really good shape. So I don't know what brand this is, but it's super nice. Look at the pullouts. So sadly, all of these great features are what's going to make this house get a lot of interest. Okay, and then finally, probably when this house was built originally, this was the largest room, therefore the primary. They've got these two lamps here, which indicates they likely had a queen size bed coming out this way. This is, I think, a European queen. And so while it's the width of a queen, it is a length of a king. Could a king fit in here? It could, but you'd really run out of territory. So as a primary bedroom, I might consider putting a headboard on this wall coming this direction if I didn't have really bulky furniture. And then once again, some really cool built-ins. These are all custom. This was not here, when this house was built. So there's not a giant closet in this room, but a lot of really nice built-ins. Having these slides. Okay, I'm going to cut back through the kitchen, then we'll go to the back of the house and then outside. I told you there was a lot of activity, so there is just a ton of cards here already. Okay, family room. So very interesting. At one point I was thinking this was an addition, but I'm thinking this part at a minimum was always here. It could have been added, but at a later date. When I see the brick, I feel like that's original to the age of the house. So it's a fabulous family room. And while we all have larger TVs, that's probably what that was for, was TV. So if you had something larger, you could maybe mount it here, or you could float it here, you know, just have it on a stand. These built-ins are terrific. Also gas fireplace. So this was likely a wood-burning fireplace at one point. They converted it because this in the back is the hatch that would have gone to the outside so that you could load your firewood into this spot. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, really nice. So they're using this as an office, or this was an office. Gosh, I'd hate to pull out these built-ins, but you've, you know, limited yourself to it being an office if you don't. But gosh, I would maybe just keep all of these built-ins. If I wanted to use this as a primary bedroom, have somebody pull this section out, and then a headboard going into this wall here, because this is a nice big bedroom, or big room. It's not a bedroom. All closets. Yeah, lots of nice storage. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, this is great. And then adjacent to a 3/4 bath, so walk-in shower. There's a pocket door here. Teeny tiny toilet. It is a normal sized toilet. It's just that we're doing toilets a little higher off the ground, so that would be something I might consider updating. You know, this vanity is original. I'm wondering if this was all originally designed this way and then the homeowner customized it. So another pocket door, and this leads into the laundry area. We have a man door out to that side yard. The door into the garage. Now, your home inspector is going to love that. Looks like it has an auto close, which we want on a garage. They're going to hate that. I'm not saying that you do anything about it, but home inspectors don't necessarily like pet doors on the garage. Okay, and then we get out here, and it's a fantastic garage. So deep sink, water heater and furnace there. So main switch. I'm just going to look and see if there is another panel someplace. This feels small to me, so I'm thinking, is this a panel for the garage? I can't read the map anymore. It looks like there was some update happening in 2011. So I don't know exactly what I'm looking at. Okay, here we go. So here we have probably what was the main panel. So now I'm going to go back to the fact that there was likely an addition. And I don't know anything about this type of panel. So this, again, would come back to the home inspector. I understand that this lady had a pre-inspection. So she had an inspector out, and they found a few. When I say a few, I don't know what that number is, but it sounds like there were a few electrical items, and they had a local, well-known electrician come, and they spent about 3 hours here fixing everything. So this person was likely somebody that worked on cars. So I'm seeing things related to that. Welder, compressor on that panel. I also see a pit here. So again, my guess is that they were a car mechanic type person. On a home this age, when I see 3-prong, I just caution you that those might not be grounded. And I think I'll go out the other way, but oh, I see. I've got this buttoned up pretty good. Okay, we're not going to go out that way. Go out another way. Yeah, definitely a car mechanic. I know they have air conditioning. So let's see. So this was installed. Oh boy, I can't read it very well. I feel like 07. Oh, here we go. October of 07. So not ancient. And based on how the house is being maintained, my guess is they've maintained the house well. The back side of the cinder block, so the fireplace would be on the other side. You have some cracks here. Again, that's not really unusual for a home this age, and we just let the home inspector explain to us what should or shouldn't concern us about that. So gas furnace, gas water heater, and if we were putting a brand new water heater in today, they would like us to raise that off the floor by 18 inches. We don't ever really ask people to make their house up to code because you have to rebuild the house. So it'd just be something to bear in mind. If you ever replace this, we'd have to raise it up, and you've got plenty of room for that. This indicates to me that they have a pump on here. A lot of times with Ramblers, how do we get the hot water all the way to the other end of the house? So I think that's what that is a pump. And then we have a set of stairs here that would lead to some storage over the, likely storage over the garage. So that's kind of nice. There's a lot of nice things here. Oh, I think I'm gonna go out the sliding glass door. Look at the yard. This window is either really dirty or a failed gasket, and I'm gonna lean into possibly a failed gasket. We don't have to replace the door. If there's a failed gasket, you would simply have that repaired. Sliding doors, because of the size of the glass, it can be a little more money, but I would budget about $1,500 for that. Okay, we don't see gutters because the gutters are what's called integrated. They are behind this piece of fascia. And so you can see the downspout because there's a gutter running along there. It's just a more aesthetic look. It's something we just don't see very often these days because it's a very expensive practice. So beautiful Japanese maple, beautiful slate patio. That's the property where I walked around. Looks like they likely had a fountain situation here. Maybe the pump in that. Yard drains. So not a lot of grass to deal with, which could be beneficial. This is like more of a weed whacker yard, weeding and weed whacking. That's that back side of the fireplace where I was saying you would have loaded your firewood. Hydrangeas. Looks like maybe a dog door went into this garden shed. Lots of wood storage. So this indicates that it's a catch basin to catch the rainwater. So you don't have an actual downspout here. Well, you could have one, but there isn't one. How does this roll? Perfect. Yeah, nice big shed. Looks like they used this for storage. And I'm going with cats. The doors are cats, so the cats used to hang out in here. I don't smell cats, I just see cat toys. This was likely some wood storage. This was maybe some kind of planting, a vine that might have grown up. There's the compressor. This is a real garden storage area, so this is where we would keep lawnmower or garden tools. There's your electric meter. And then that's the gate that I couldn't open earlier. But more watering apparatuses here. Okay, it's really lovely. If you like it, I think it would be one worth fighting for.